Hello and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to speak about sublet. Now, what is sublet? Sublet is when someone is already renting an apartment, a house, and they want to rent out a room or space in that same house. Now, for people who are especially people who are single, maybe even families, it depends on the size of the property. You're able to share that space. Probably have your own bedroom and possibly your own bathroom, depending on the size of the house. And you won't be on the lease, but it'll be a situation that maybe fits your budget. But let me stress, if you're doing a sublet, it's for a short period of time, maybe 3 months, 6 months, maybe max. Just consider it that way so you don't get too comfortable there and maybe have potential issues later on. And I'm talking about that later in the video. So with a sublet, what typically happens? Somebody already has a space. They may have a room empty or two rooms empty, whatever the case may be. And now what happens is they advertise for someone to rent that room. And remember, they already have a lease with the landlord, a signed lease with the landlord. You will not be on that lease. So any legal rights that you would have in a regular rental will not be applied here. Because you're not on the lease, that means you can be asked to leave pretty much at any time by that person there. It's really a gray area legally, but it's an option for, as I say, short term. And one of the things to consider as well is that you're going into an agreement with somebody who maybe you know, maybe you don't know that well. And this is specifically for students, that what I'm about to tell you. Now, you don't know if at weekends they have parties. You don't know what actually they're doing at their leisure time, and who else comes into that space whilst you're there. So this is something the young ladies need to consider, because we had one situation with a student who had rented a space through Sublet, and doesn't mean say all sublets are bad. Just telling you what to watch out for. And she'd made arrangement for the term, so it gave her at least the term to find something else permanently. And what happened while she was there, she paid the first and last. That was the agreement. And while she was there, I think it would have been the second month she was there, the landlord turned up to deliver another notice, eviction notice. Unbeknown to her, these guys were 3 months behind on rent. And just pure coincidence that she happened to be there and they were out. So at that point, she has a choice. Either she stays until the end and see what happens with the eviction, or she starts looking for somewhere else. So these are the things that can happen because you really don't know where the landlord-tenant relationship is at that point and what's really going on, because you have no access to that information. You're making the arrangement with the person that's already living there. So these are things to be aware of, and maybe you need to ask more questions as to what's happening there and how things work. But it can be a solution, especially if your budget's tight, for a short period of time. I'm going to leave a link to sublet.com in the description. You can go through it yourself. And one thing to bear in mind is that although the name says sublet.com, it's not strictly sublets. There are landlords advertising on there for rentals, which are rooms from month to month, which means that this month to month they're going to give you either 30 or 60 days notice. That's something you're going to arrange at the beginning. There's rooms for 6 months or apartments room. Now these are normally furnished. It's very similar to the short-term rentals. However, it's on sublet.com for these type of accommodation. And typically it's rooms with a bathroom, or you're sharing, but just go through it and have a look. But just something to bear in mind when, if you hear the term sublet comes out, or we can sublet to you, or are you looking for a sublet? You know exactly what they're talking about. Okay, take care. See you again. Bye bye.